Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into another episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. It is I, Colton Robertson, and yes, we're a little late, but it's the finale of the Sarlacc Soundwave, the last episode of the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 7, In the Name of Honor. I am joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
What up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you, and as always, we are also joined by Miles Buttress. Thank you very much, buddy.
Happy to be here. Excited to talk about some fucking, Book of Boba Fett, man.
Let's talk the Book of Boba Fett. I'm going to tell you, I loved this finale. I saw it get a lot of shit online, and it's apparently like the lowest rated episode of all the episodes, which is really interesting. But
they had to follow episodes 5 and 6.
Yeah, it's hard. And here's my thing. I don't even know what the fuck anyone's complaining about. We got Boba Fett riding a Rancor. I don't need anything else. This is awesome.
Not only did we get Boba Fett riding a Rancor, we got hands down. And I said best scene whenever I sent the message about it. I didn't actually mean best scene. I meant most adorable scene. I just didn't want to spoil anything. The most goddamn adorable scene I think in all of Star Wars.
Oh,
fucking baby Yoda or little baby Grogu cuddling up to a fucking Rancor.
Yeah. No, I think the even cuter moment is him force jumping into Din's arms, into.
Oh, I mean, listen, that was adorable.
Kelimoto, hey, look who's here, and then him looking down, double taking me, what?
Yeah.
What are you doing? And then he puts away his blaster and talks to him for a second. And he's like, "What are you doing here?"
Oh my god, I never thought I'd see you again. Oh, I'm so glad.
I didn't know when I'd see you again.
Love you,
and
buddy.
I love that he said when. Because there wasn't a question of if. He was gonna see his ass again.
Listen, that shit was adorable, but the fucking Din about to get eaten by the Rancor, and then
I'd taken that.
Grogu just going up and just being like, go to sleep. The Rancor going to sleep, and him just walking over into the Rancor next to its face, and just curling up into a ball and going to sleep next to him. Fucking adorable.
Legendary shit. But
also I have headcanon. Din is no longer Boba Fett is no longer the owner of that Rancor. And it does not recognize Boba Fett as its master. It now recognizes Grogu as its master.
Grogu.
And if I don't see Grogu riding into battle with the Darksaber on a Rancor,
what are we even doing here? What are we even doing?
I think one thing I like to say before we kick off is that this episode, if you watch it directly after episode 4, which I did, I rewatched this series and I just watched 1 through 4 and then the finale. It was so good. Watching you don't get the Mando going to Cobb Vanth thing, but if you just accept that happens, that's the only thing you miss. Really, that's part of the Boba storyline. And this finale, it just had to follow 2 incredibly just unbelievable episodes that we didn't think we were ever going to get. But I have no complaints with this finale at all.
And officially now that the series is over, it reframes the whole thing to where we know that the Book of Boba Fett was about Boba's rebirth through his time with the Tuskens, becoming this leader in Tatooine, and freeing it from the control of the Pikes, basically.
I think also realizing that I don't think they want to be, the leaders of the crime syndicate anymore. I don't think they even want to be the leaders of a planet.
No, yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the the whole the journey of the Book of Boba Fett is realizing, because at the end he thinks I want to take back Tatooine and free it, and he does free it, and then I think that part of it is realizing, I don't want to stay here though.
There's a bigger universe out there, and he's gonna do his thing. But the thing that it makes you realize too is that not only do we get that whole story, but within it is the 3-episode arc that reunites Din and Grogu. They did the Clone Wars arc thing and gave Din it right in the middle of this show, and they were like, we won't have to worry about Din and Grogu being split apart for a whole season of Mandalorian, because we're going to bring them back together in a really, really compelling way with everything you need to know in between the seasons, and it'll be perfect. And I saw people complaining about how it cheapens the finale of the Mandalorian season 2, and it's like, I mean, like, I can see how you think that, given that, like, it's like, we didn't have to wait very long for that. But like, doesn't that make it kind of cuter that, like, all the while neither one of them could stand to be apart for long? Like, they had to come back together, or else they weren't going to be okay with it. Like, I think that's cute.
That's
Luke one of those things. Go ahead.
Like, the second Luke said, a lifetime for you, or a short time for you is a lifetime for another, was like, I'm like, okay, he's going back to Din. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
Like, he's taking the arm. Like, I think everyone wanted him to take the lightsaber just because to train with Luke.
No,
like,
I didn't.
But like,
well, like,
I mean,
on
like
initial,
the surface level,
on surface level, your initial
like,
thought is like, oh, take the lightsaber, Luke, don't be a dick, let him do both, is like the initial like hope. But you know what you really want, which is him to just take the armor and go be with Din for a bit, and then maybe come back whenever Din's an old man and he dies.
I think it's real interesting though, like it does officially resolve our questions about what the fuck was going to happen with Grogu at Luke's Jedi Temple. It makes it clear that Luke.
I don't know. I don't think so.
What do you mean you don't know?
Like, I don't think that he's like, just because he's with Din now does not mean that he never goes back to that temple and like to.
I don't think he does in the next 30 years.
Really?
Well, but I think what Joe is like, there is a chance that
I think Din just takes him there.
That like, as Luke like gets
eventually.
new students, he realizes like you can't force them to give up all attachment, because he literally teaches his
Ahsoka too,
his nephew. Like
Ahsoka's
you
all
can't
about
say
attachment.
give up. Yeah, you can't say give up all attachment while teaching your fucking nephew. And so I think maybe that's like a storyline, as he realizes that, and then decides, maybe I will. And then like Din, it decides to let Din bring Grogu back as like a part-time student.
I think it's a way
that would be great. That would be great.
I don't think it'll happen, but it would be great.
It won't, because of The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Where Luke is at in The Last Jedi, he's fucked up. He did this and Grogu's gone. He never gets Grogu back. I don't like, he teaches it in the way that he was taught by the book Jedi, by Obi-Wan Kenobi and by Yoda. And what he doesn't see is that they were fucking up back in the day.
I think it might go the other way. I think it might be Luke
wouldn't make sense for it to go the other way.
Just hold on for a second. Yeah. Luke starts to teach in this new way. Right. He has all the texts, everything. He has all the source, everything, but he starts to teach in this new way and allows attachment. He's talking with Ahsoka. It makes sense. He starts allowing attachment. He takes Grogu back into his temple and allows Din and Grogu to come and go as they please. And, it's part of the thing. And then maybe this is why he goes so crazy, because maybe he gets, visited from a Force ghost, a Yoda or someone who tells him like, Luke, you are going way too far out, man. You need to realize who you are, what you were taught. You are doing this the complete wrong way. And it's like, this is going to ruin it for everybody. And then that's why he's like, oh, like Kylo's going to kill Grogu. Can't let that happen. I'm going, he's getting all these thoughts at once. He's like, I want to teach this new way, but now my old masters are telling me not to, and I have to save the future of the Jedi. So Grogu is that, but so it's like all this clusterfuck, and it kind of makes even more sense that he's going crazy at this time. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's like off the table that Grogu doesn't go back to the temple. Like, I don't know.
I forget that your basis for this is largely his freak out over Kylo, like his urge to strike down that darkness in him ASAP. I don't really think.
Why else does he do it?
I mean, I just don't think it's
his father, the shred of light that's in Vader, and he pulls it out of him. But a shred of darkness in his grandson is
not
enough.
A shred of darkness.
Okay,
been fully
okay, sorry.
Also, let's not act
like
like Luke just was like, "Oh, Father, I see a shred of light. I will save you, Father." There was one point where he fully intended to kill Darth Vader.
Yeah, but then he learned not to.
It
was like the whole point.
As he did with Kylo.
Yes.
He fully intended on killing Darth Vader, and then as he was going to kill him, he realized, no, I can't do this. This isn't the Jedi way. And he did the same thing with Kyler. He was about to kill him because of the darkness, but then he realized, no, I can't do this. This isn't the Jedi way. I've seen this a lot where people are like, it just doesn't make any sense for him to want to kill Kylo. Yes, it does.
So you're saying the lesson he learned with his father, he just lets it repeat. The lesson that Luke learned, the biggest
Joseph,
lesson of his life.
I don't know if you realize this. People forget things, especially 40 years after it happened.
Especially when you're training someone who you are attached to in a line of work where you're supposed to avoid attachment.
I cannot accept it. Then why? They're throwing away the original trilogy by bringing Palpatine back and just letting this happen again.
Oh, I mean, okay, Palpatine back, sure, whatever.
Like, I can't accept it. Like, if
the idea of Kylo getting corrupted and Luke's initial thought of being, he is corrupted, I need to take him out before he can do more damage, and then hesitating because he remembers there is still light in him, I can save him. But then Kylo wakes up and sees his uncle standing over him with a fucking lightsaber. And that's the push over the edge that Kylo needs to go full dark side. And that's why Luke goes off and becomes a hermit, because he realizes, I fucked up. Had I thought immediately, had I remembered the lesson that I learned with my father immediately instead of trying to kill him, none of this would have happened.
Yeah, like the thing is that like I think that Luke takes full ownership over the fucking mistake he made. Like he knows how bad he fucked up, and he knows that he fucked up because he's seen it work the other way.
Yeah.
It only makes sense to me if he's doing it to protect Grogu. That's like I don't know. That's the only way it makes sense.
He's doing it to protect every other Jedi there,
and everyone in the goddamn galaxy.
I don't know. I just can't. Something else would have to push Luke to. He physically was almost there to kill him. Like, he had to think about that. He thought about it before. Like, I don't know. There's another factor that pushed him to do this. It wasn't just that Kylo was dark and he wanted to end it.
No, it was the
factor
didn't
was want to end it.
The factor was, the factor of why he wanted to, at least if I remember correctly, why he wanted to kill Darth Vader originally was because of the threat he posed to his friends. Luke, as a teacher, has grown an attachment to all the other Padawans and sees the darkness inside of Kylo and sees the threat he poses to those attachments. And so his initial reaction is, I need to take out the threat. I know I have to kill. It would be killing my nephew, but I have to end the threat to the rest of the Padawans. And then he realizes the error in his ways, but by that point, it's too late.
Yeah, it's just interesting, like, because going back to what I initially began this with, it's just that, like, this being a perfect example of him directly following the course of the masters before him, being like, attachment bad, can't have attachment. No, that's a no. Soon as you do it, all right, cool, go back to him. That's it. And I'm assuming what ultimately what ultimately complicates the whole teachings is his nephew, so it'll be interesting if we ever get any more content filling that gap. But
it was interesting that they left it off screen and that R2 just shipped him. He just shipped him to Tatooine. Like, did R2 go back to Luke? Is R2 still in Pellet? Like, yeah. Like he has his X-wing, right? He like left. He has R2 back, obviously. But it is interesting that they had that moment happen off screen, though. That
and that also might be. I was kind of thinking about this. That might be because of the fact that he was just like, he has R2 take Grogu back so that way he can stay and meditate on the choice that he made.
Well, I'm just saying,
and talk.
Like, Luke could have told him, like, maybe Luke is like, all right, you know what, that was the right choice. Come back to me in.
Yeah, maybe there was a larger conversation there that we just didn't see. Yeah. I think it was purely from a television creation standpoint. It wasn't. I don't know that there was a deeper choice here. I think it was like oh shit, there's Luke's X-wing. However, if we're coming back to Tatooine and there's about to be a war on Tatooine in which someone's about to protect people, if Luke's there, he's not going to leave. And they didn't want Luke to be a part of it, so they just went ahead and shipped him. Which I think that's ultimately what it was. But that does create a little bit of a hole where it's like, well, I think Luke would have wanted to go ahead and escort him back, but it creates a problem in which Luke probably wouldn't leave and he'd fight this war with them. But then we fall into we're really going to have Luke save everybody every time.
Or I guess it could give even more credence to Luke just being like, if you have any attachment, you are no longer a Jedi. Like, maybe it was like he's just shipping him off. Like, he truly doesn't. Like, he's like, all right,
it's like, all right, you made your choice. See you, buddy.
I guess it could be that. Like, I don't know though. I feel like Grogu will still train with Luke in some way. Or
I think I'll get more to this later. I think he's going to be trained by Ezra, but officially more so now than I ever did before. Just Ahsoka and Ezra, and I think there'll be something more there. I think Ahsoka might have the opportunity to come back around on training Grogu. I just think that Luke's out of the picture for him for now.
And also, you think about it, if we want like Sabine to come back, like Din to take more part in like the Mandalore aspect, he would see Sabine. He might, meet Ezra through that. And I don't think Ezra gives a flying fuck about attachment whenever it comes to teaching.
No.
Jedi. I don't think he cares at all, which would be the perfect opportunity for, Ezra to be like, yeah, I had attachments. And so, yeah, I'll teach you. I don't care about your attachments. I had attachments to all of my friends before I, learned that I was going to be a Jedi. So yeah, sure. 100%.
No, yeah, it's just, I think it makes a lot more sense with that side of the universe. To have Grogu involved, just because we haven't seen it unfold. The stuff that's established in the sequel trilogy, I think it's just safer to steer fucking clear of it. Just in terms of continuity, like do what you can to benefit it, but don't make it too closely tied to the main characters of the sequel trilogy.
Retcon confirmed.
Fuck off. It's all but confirmed that there will never.
I knew you would enjoy that, Colton, because I see all the stuff that you like about like people just being like, shut the fuck up.
Like, it's like they're not retconning it.
And even if they are,
could go Ahsoka through Ahsoka. He could. I see Dave Filoni going through this alternate. Like,
no, but and even if they do retcon it,
I don't know.
The fact that
I absolutely don't see Filoni doing that.
Signing in Jon Favreau
teaches no. It's
it's not that I don't think they could. It's that I don't think they would.
Yeah, there's always a chance they could. But all the people that are like, oh, Luke taught Grogu for a week, retcon confirmed, baby. It's an alternate universe, and it's like, I feel like that's a bit of a stretch. Like, come on now. There are a lot of people that dislike the sequel trilogy. I don't really like the sequel trilogy, but Grogu getting taught by Luke for like 2 days is not enough to confirm a retcon.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think the conversation will come up though. Like, I think it will be addressed. If this is like the Ahsoka, like, which I don't know. I think like it will become part of like an important part of a Star Wars story eventually, because like it's such a cool concept that Palpatine was super interested in, obviously, and like we only just got a little taste of it.
Shit.
Yeah, and I don't think it's necessarily the, if it is becoming part of, canon Star Wars, that it automatically means that the sequels are not canon. That like there's a world where the world between worlds exists and the sequels are still canon. Like
exactly,
that's a possibility. So like I think I just want that to come up. Like I think
there is a
really
multiverse that exists where the sequel trilogy is canon, just not this multiverse.
But we'll fucking see. Let's dive into a scene by scene.
Are we gonna start the scene by scene now? Do you have 20 minutes in?
Yes, we are. Chapter 7, In the Name of Honor, written by Jon Favreau, by Robert Rodriguez, premiered on February 9th. Let's begin. We open on Mos Espa as Boba Fett and Fennec Shand stand within the absolutely wrecked sanctuary, and the pair are soon joined by our boy Din and the mods Drash and Scad. And Din informs the group that he spoke to Cobb Vanth, and he'll need a garrison to assist us. And Bubba's like, yes, with the citizens of Mos Pelgo, Freetown. They call it Freetown now. Absolutely loved that. Just that Din's like, this is what it is now. So I don't know. I don't make the rules.
Bubba was just like, all right.
Yeah. Okay.
He immediately was like, all right,
Freetown.
the citizens of Freetown. Yeah.
But despite he said he's been holding off the spice trade single-handedly out in Mos Pelgo, which I think is cool. But he says despite the protest of Fennec, Boba agrees to the terms. She's like, there's a lot of value in that orange powder. We could make a lot of money off that. And he's like, nah, fuck it. It's killing people here, so it'll be cool. He's like, so we should head back to the palace and regroup there. A lot more protection of the mods. And Scad goes, that's a bad idea. And Boba's like, excuse me? And him and Drash make the case for Mos Pelgo. Like, yo, we got to stay here and protect the people. What does it say if you go running back to your palace? And this immediately changes Boba's mind. He's like, yeah, you know what? That's fair. We'll wait here. And meanwhile, Cad Bane is arriving in Mos Eisley, and he walks in to meet the Pike in charge of the Syndicate's operation on Tatooine, and they're staying in the Desert Survey office, as we learn later from the Major Domo. They're there with the mayor of Mos Espa, and Bane assures his client and the mayor that they don't need to worry about Freetown getting involved because he paid them a visit. And Mok Shaiz expresses his relief, and he asks if there is anyone else who may be able to come to Boba Fett's aid, mentioning that the Tusken tribe that Fett used to be a part of. And the Pike reassures him that all the Tuskens are dead, as the Syndicate had them slaughtered and pinned it on the Kintan Strider gang, getting rid of both groups to whom they were paying protection. And this is interesting. I'd suspected the Pike's involvement somehow, but I didn't realize they'd pinned it on the Kintans. I thought the Kintans were told by the Pikes to do it, and they went ahead and did it.
I figured it was that the Pikes paid them to do it, not the Pikes did it and then just put up like a fucking like bike graffiti.
Yeah, like what's funny to me is that it makes a lot of sense, I just didn't realize they were going that far to not pay protection to one of them. They're like, fuck both of them. We'll figure this out. And all while Boba was pulling up to the main office to tell them, like, hey, don't worry about paying protection to them. We'll get it figured out. And they went ahead and just wiped everybody out on their own. And Mok Shaiz requests that damages to Mos Espa be kept to a minimum. You know, the Pike he doesn't want to see his town destroyed, and the Pike boss interjects, claiming that, you know, extreme force is needed to remove Boba and his people from the sanctuary. And Cad responds that by saying that he has an idea of how to draw Fett out. And next up, we see a little X-wing with some red decals approaching Mos Eisley, and it descends upon Peli Motto's hangar, and she's like, "Oh shit, it's the New Republic, son of a bitch." She instructs her droids to you know, hide a bunch of shit around it, and as she moves to greet whoever is inside of it, and the hatch opens, she's like, "Well, you're being awful shy. Who the fuck's in there?" And we see the little cutie, our little guy, our little green man, our Grogu, as he reveals himself. And I was like, "Oh shit!" So we know what choice he made. Here we are. Let's fucking go, baby. And like, as soon as you see the X-wing, you knew what choice he made. Like that's Luke's X-wing. All right, so Grogu chose to go back with Daddy, and
so disappointed that, like, whenever he got out and he had the little, you know, little armor thing, I was like, oh, fucking adorable. But I was like, come on, just pull out the lightsaber, pull it out. Tell me that Luke was like, you made the right choice. Here's the lightsaber.
Right.
What if R2
won't
just
teach
spit
you.
out the lightsaber, like
like in Return of the
after
Jedi,
they
that'd have been
landed,
epic.
and then like it was just like Luke's way of being like, good shit, kid, you made the right choice. Here's your prize.
But
Yeah.
You know, R2D2.
We can dream.
R2D2 was like, so where's Din? And you know, Peli, who can speak a variety of languages, including droid, responds that, you know, he's not here. He has a job in Mos Espa. And R2's like, man, what the fuck? Don't grab him. And then, you know, she goes ahead and grabs Grogu out and to catch up and give him a snack. And she sees that he's wearing the little chainmail underneath, which I was like, fuck yeah, baby. She comments on the fact that Grogu's an ugly ass name, which I thought was funny. Everyone be making fun of Grogu, bro. Straight to his face.
I mean, in all fairness, it's not like he can, like, you know, respond.
But he understands.
He understands. Well, she probably doesn't realize.
No, yeah, I know that they don't know. But that's what makes it hurt worse. Yeah.
She doesn't know that he's a 50-year-old man.
Poor little dude.
But back in the ruins of the sanctuary, Fennec is telling Boba and Din that they have people positioned all over to keep an eye on the Syndicate's movement, so that they won't be surprised. You know, the 2 Gamorrean guards are at the starport, Chrysanthemum's in front of City Hall, and the mods are down in the Workers' District. And despite these measures, 8D8 reports that someone has arrived to meet with Boba. And Boba's like, well, so much for that, Fennec. Jesus fucking Christ. I like that. Like, throughout this whole series, Fennec is kind of like she's always said one thing and then is immediately shot down, which is like, I don't know whether it's funny or if it's kind of like fucked up that they keep doing that.
I think it's just she's very brute force. And Boba is trying to be like, we can't be like that anymore.
Right.
Because every time she's like, she just wants to either take over right away or, like, you know, do the most aggressive play. And Boba's like, I don't know. I think it's kind of erring on the side of it kind of being a little, like, weird that she is just getting shut down every time. But I don't know. They do give her badass moments.
Oh yeah,
to, like,
100%.
it out,
you know, she is ultimately, there's nobody better to have at your side than Fennec Shand, I'd say. But you know, they take up position as Boba exits to meet with Cad Bane, who claims to be there to negotiate on behalf of the Syndicate. And Boba's like, "Nah, I'm good." And Cad Bane's like, "Oh yeah, I went and saw Cobb Vanth. They won't be coming to see you anytime soon." And Boba's like, "Fuck. All right. I'm only gonna talk to the head of the Syndicate, though. That's it. That's all I've got." And Cad Bane, you know, he's like, "Oh, the Syndicate, huh? The guy who had your Tusken family murdered, not the Nick 2 speed bikers." And Boba's like, all right. So you're trying to fucking fight then? You know,
Those are fighting words.
and this is one of those times where Fennec has the cool head, which is interesting. You know, when one of them gets hot, the other cools them down. You know, she's like, hey, think it through. She doesn't go full Cobb Vanth with it, but she's like, you know, this ain't the best time. We need to begin the battle on our own terms, not on theirs. And you know, things calm, but before he leaves, Cad Bane claims, you know, you've gone soft with your old age. And Bubba's like, we all do.
We all do. What like this? Their standoffs, man. Like just their interaction. Like, don't worry, I have back shooters too, or like you know, like just the way he speaks and like how.
Isn't that
like how Western this was, man?
They
like,
call him the Stifling Slimy, which we have heard Boba say in The Mandalorian, which I just thought was funny. This is a saying. This isn't just some fucking simile Boba threw out.
Yeah, it's just calling him a hypocrite.
Yeah,
you know, like.
Well, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? But
man, yeah, they've been killing it with the metaphors and the similes.
Just a bunch of legends out here, bro. But once he's gone, Drash calls in on the comms and reports that the locals have something's going weird. You know, everything's in a weird spot right now. I can't exactly explain it, and then shit starts popping off. The locals turn on them, despite the treaty previously established, and Boba attempts to get in touch with Chrysanthemum, who is fighting the Trandoshans in the city center, and grows overwhelmed by their numbers. And the Gamorreans try to contact Fett, but are ultimately pushed off a cliff by the members of the Klatooinian family. R.I.P. to our Gamorreans, bro. Super fucking sad to see him go. And I thought we were about to lose Chrysanthemum too. I was like, you're fucking kidding me. This shit looked bad. This shit looked bad. And I was like, we did all this speculating. They're like, oh, are the Trandoshans going to be a problem? Ooh, but the Klatooinians seem like they might be a problem. They're all going to be a problem. And it was the smart play. It made me go, wait a second. What made Boba think he ever stood on good grounds? Like he said, like, I gave them a better offer than the Syndicate would give them. Like, and I guess he thought like they would look out for themselves. Like once you help the Pike Syndicate, they'll come for your territory. I have no intention of doing that. But if they're, maybe there's some better, like some good faith. They're like, Boba's going to lose the war anyway. We might as well get on the Pike side. Like, I don't know, but yeah, sad to see our Gamorreans go, to be sure. Hate that for them.
They survived.
They survived that fall. They survived that 100-foot fall. They'll be fine.
Listen. Maul survived his fall. I think a couple of Gamorreans
Palpatine who have survived.
Well, Palpatine didn't really survive.
I guess transfer.
That's why I didn't. Yeah, that's why I didn't say
Gamorreans. Maul survived consciousness, though.
Maul survived his fall after getting cut in half. I think the Gamorreans can survive their fall.
Yeah, I mean,
well, obviously because they were filming it, they had like a really big pillow down there.
Right.
There was double to land on, so yeah, they're fine.
A giant trampoline. They actually bounced off of it and straight back up to the top of the cliff.
And then beat up the guys that they
exactly.
were
Then they threw the Klatooinians off the cliff, far away from that trampoline. with few options, left, Boba confirms with the Major Domo the location of the Syndicate's base in Mos Eisley. He's like, actually, I'm not real. They always tried to keep that. Tell me in the Desert Survey Office, if I remember correctly. He sends Fennec to confront the Pike Syndicate's enforcer, and on the way, she manages to assist the mods by sniping down the Aqualish family who had them pinned. And I'm like, oh, thank God, at least someone's fucking okay. Jesus, I know we lost a couple of mods here, but at least we didn't lose Drash and Scad. But the Syndicate begins to move into position around the sanctuary, and Din's like, Boba's like, maybe it's time for you to get out of here, man. This shit don't really matter to you. And Din's like, this would go against the creed for me to leave. Boba's like, all right, cool. On the basis, we'll die. We'll die together. For honor.
Damn.
And I think this is a relationship that they're really gonna run with. A couple of dudes who haven't had the homie. You know what I'm saying? Like the ride or die. Like this. Like I can't imagine how it felt for Boba to look at Din and him go, "I will die for you here." You know what I'm saying? Like
it's different than like just saying it to someone like in a room where you're not about to go die, but when you're literally like
we're
about to go die and then you say that, that's like
like I will go fight with you and I'll do my best. We will die and we'll die with honor. You know, like I think I just fuck with them being like just homies from here on out, like just willing to do anything for each other. I think that's really fucking cool. Just because a couple of lone wolves coming together, I think it's pretty fucking dope. But
the sad part is I think Din was willing to die because he was like, I have to let Grogu be, you know.
Yeah, like if I don't die, I'm a see Grogu again.
Like, oh my god. Like, damn.
Yeah, like he's like
this is the way.
You know, he's gonna stay with his Jedi master, so I don't have a son to live for. I'm gonna go ahead and die. Let's go, Boba. But you know, that whole like, you're sure? Draws the pistol. This is the way. I was like, fuck yes. And then you know, the Twi'lek Major Domo, after this whole badass moment's like, may I interject? I could go speak to them and negotiate for our freedom and surrender on Boba's behalf. I did study on Coruscant, where I attended and finished academy and specialized in civic council negotiations.
Not that I'm any better than you,
but Boba's like, all right, yeah. He starts writing on the Major Domo's pad, and
so we all knew that this was going to be some.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't going to surrender. Yeah. I knew that much. And,
I knew he wasn't going to surrender, but like at first I thought, I was like, I wonder what message he's
And I love that he was like, I love that he immediately sees the opportunity to be like, let's fuck with this guy.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, it's going to be hilarious. It's going to be going one way the whole time. Like, as soon as the Major Domo walks out that door, Boba turns to Din and is like, okay, so listen to this. This is what I did. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah, well, no, I feel like he probably was like, all right, Din, listen, this is going to be super fucking funny. Let's go out and watch this asshole make a fool of himself.
Maybe we should hear the Major Domo emerges before the Pike soldiers gathered in front of the sanctuary and reads out the terms Boba Fett has written. He's like, all right, so I, Boba Fett, he like points back to the sanctuary and is like, and these are the terms of surrender. Maybe we should hear what your guys' terms are, huh? And they're like, no, finish. And he's like, nothing. Before they're like, all right, well, we're going to kill your ass, Mr. Major Domo. I was like, man, did Boba really just send this dude to his death? That's hilarious. And then, you know, Boba and Din soar into the picture with their jetpacks and begin to gun down the Syndicate. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, baby. And
I didn't know I wanted that until it showed up, you know, just both of them up there in their jetpacks.
And we really got them working side by side. We thought, like, you know, we saw it in episode 6 of season 2, the tragedy or whatever. You see them both in the same place, both doing badass stuff, but we don't see them side by side doing this sort of shit. And I mean, I got to tell everyone who ran with that spin by SCAD and said that Robert Rodriguez can't direct action, and tell them to fuck the fuck off. This is some of the best action we've seen across all of Star Wars, these two. It's fucking brilliant.
Like, just the jetpack scene was awesome alone, but then we have so much more left in this episode.
It's so brilliant. You know, with them now having you know, sort of something of an advantage afforded by their armor and surprise strike. Boba and Din take down many of the Syndicate by themselves. However, the numbers prove to be too much as they just keep on coming. And the blaster shots just slowly take them down. And I love that, like, the thing that made them vulnerable to going down was that someone shot them from up on top of a roof, and they both shot him and then gave him a shot all the way down to the ground. Both of them just kept shooting him. Like, fuck this guy. Are you fucking kidding me? I just absolutely loved that. And, this ultimately kind of like makes them vulnerable, has them fall to the ground. Din arms his whistling birds, and you see Boba at his back protecting him as he launches them. And then as they're going down side by side, unexpected reinforcements arrive. It's the people of Freetown and a large armored speeder. And Din apologizes for what happened to, good old Cobb.
I really want to know why Cad Bane thought like, oh yeah, no, they're not going to be a problem. They're like, oh, like you get it worked out with them. Oh yeah, no, I killed their leader.
Yeah, I only did something that would motivate them.
Yeah. So you killed why you killed their leader and like a new guy like that your buddies with is in power?
Well, Freetown's not like
you made a
town,
martyr of Cobb Vanth?
Every town that Cad Bane visits, his plan works because they are scared enough not to fuck with them. Right. But Freetown's Freetown. So like,
Freetown. You don't fuck with Freetown, baby.
Well, no, like if a town is like it's just like a normal town, and then you go in, kill their leader, move on. Cool. Like, yeah, that would scare them all. But if a town is already like one known for like being a pain in the ass, and two like already on the edge of joining, it'd be like it would it's just like. Yeah, we're already thinking about joining.
Seems like a little bit of
killed
a
our leader. It's like, I don't know. It kind of seems like the thing that you wouldn't want to do to a town that's already on the edge of war.
Right.
It'd be like, it would literally be the equivalent of if like the CIA was right now. It's just like, you know what? I know how to stop war with Russia. Let's kill Putin. It's like, I don't know. It kind of seems like that might not be the best way to prevent war. To start a war.
But nevertheless, when Din's apologizing for what happened to, Cobb Vanth, he tells them that they didn't need to come. And, the Weequay, who we later learned is named Tanti, finally gets a name after a few appearances, explains, actually that's why we did need to come. And, the surviving members of the mods arrive, as well as an injured Black Chrysanthemum who comes barreling around a corner, absolutely tossing Trandoshans everywhere. It's fantastic, and some pikes too. It is just pikes, because the implication is that he's murdered all the other Trandoshans who fucked with him.
Why did they not show that?
Because
why?
I think it's just like it was such insurmountable odds that it's like. There's no way that he actually got out of that on screen.
There's no way that we can show him getting out of it and it doesn't look stupid. So we're just gonna show him walking up.
They gave us the scene.
Death.
Yeah,
they gave us the scene where he's looking at him in the cantina, like staring him down, like hating him, and like wanting to kill him.
To show and then, that he hates them.
I know, but this could have been the moment where it's like he gets to just get back at him, and like they could have just shown him going off.
Yeah, I think also to show like that he has that extra motivation to where like if he had like 8 or 9 pikes on top of him, he'd probably be like, all right, you know what, I surrender, not worth the effort. He has 8 or 9 Trandoshans, right? Yeah, he has 8 or 9 Trandoshans like piling on top of him. He's gonna rip every single one of them to shreds. Even if he like comes out of the battle limping, barely alive, he's going to kill.
I will say the mods arriving too was badass as fuck. Them riding up on their speeders and like gunning them down from like, and then one of the speeders ultimately seeing their demise, getting destroyed.
Rip.
But nevertheless, everyone's regrouped here, back at the heart of Mos Espa, and before celebrations can start up though, in too much earnest as they've driven the pikes back. Din uses his, thermal scope to recognize that there's some trouble coming. 2 Scorpnik droids are approaching, unable to be stopped even by Fett's missile, due to some powerful deflector shields. And like, it was immediately when I saw this that I was like, they're really, really, really doing the prequel trilogy element thing hard, and I love it. Like, this is like the perfect melding of eras in Star Wars for me. Like, and I think people are quick to dismiss like big droids as a problem. Like, I think like, at least like my instinct is to kind of go like, no, these are two big fucking droids. Deal with it. You know what I'm saying? But like, there was a whole droid army that was difficult to defeat, and the fucking droids that couldn't be destroyed by anyone but Luke Skywalker with his lightsaber. And then
like these things are OP.
Yeah, these things are OP.
Like,
well, also like they don't even have like the other like the Clone Wars, like the little versions of these things. Like they had the thing where you could just like roll a grenade into their shield, and it would go through the shield, and they were just dead. These, it's like, you know, the shields are actually, not only are they like, do they stop like energy, they also stop like physical stuff,
which is a problem. But you know, the armored vehicle they'd been using for cover in this moment is destroyed as they tell the mods and everyone else to flee one way, and Boba and Din go ahead and run the other. Which I was like, dude, they're just gonna do this all on their fucking own. They're legends. They're just like everyone else. All fucking 30 of you run the other way. We've got this. They attempt to take the Scorpniks on to like little success, and with instructions for Din to protect the others, Boba goes ahead and is like, I'm gonna dip, and he goes ahead and flies away. And if I'm Din, I'm going, wait, what the fuck? Because it's like no explanation there. Protect the others. Oh shit! All right, and you know, Din is able to gain the attention of one droid, and the other continues to pursue the others, and ultimately, you know, right at the right time, Pelimoto arrives, and a droid-driven cart, one that we saw earlier in the series that was nearly destroyed whenever they were making a speeder chase through the town for the mayor's major domo, and
turn around.
But
turn it around.
He's like, turn it around, and she's like, why? What the? Oh shit, turn it around. And he goes ahead and chases it and hops on for the ride. And the mods and while the mods in the Freetown garrison are forced to hole up in the ruins of a house, and Drash and a new companion who it seems like there might be a little bit of a something there for Drash, and a character named Joe make their way to a nearby rooftop in order to snipe some of the Pike Syndicate members and distract the Scorpnik. And back with Peli and Din, she's like, hey, look who I've got here. And she unveils Grogu. And, you know, he looks down and he's like, oh, what? And he's like, whoa, what are you doing here, buddy? What? And you got the shirt. I love that. I love that Din gifted Grogu chainmail Mandalorian Beskar armor. And like the most himbo thing of him was to go, you got the shirt. Shirt.
He was flustered,
I
man.
love it.
And like not the one thing that Grogu learned from Luke, but like the main skill that he learned, jumping. Like he used it immediately to jump into Din's arms. Like I was like, okay, oh my god,
it's okay, buddy. Yeah, but we're a little busy right now. I just loved all of that, and one of my favorite scenes in any Star Wars ever now, just because I've wanted that so badly for almost a whole year, or a little bit over a year.
His smile, like Grogu's smile too. He's so happy.
So happy
like,
to see his dad.
He's so happy.
It makes me so happy.
My God.
I was so like, and it officially made it so that this was a 3-episode arc to reunite Din and Grogu, and we're off in the Mandalorian season 3. We're going to be chilling. But very quickly after they reunite, the droid manages to shoot the cart down and forcing them to all fly through the air. And I don't know if you saw, but if you take a still frame of this, Grogu has the biggest fucking smile on his face as they're flying
he's having
through
a
the
blast,
air, which is just funny. And and you know, it forces the 3 to take a stand, but a distant roar distracts the Scorpnik, and it is revealed to be the Rancor, ridden by Fett from the palace. And the Rancor faces off against the Scorpnik droid, manages to severely damage its shielding, allowing Din to approach from behind and break inside with his dark saber. And he makes it to the top of the droid, slicing and I was like, Din, do it, for the love of God, do what you're gonna do, because I'm afraid this Rancor is about to go down. And he slices off one gun turret and then is knocked off, and I'm like, fucking A. And this gives us a scene where, the droid is looking down at Din. Din's looking up at the droid, facing certain death at the hands of a droid, and is saved for the second time in this very situation. But this time by Grogu, instead of the Mandalorian who found him.
So, question. First stomp that the droid did hit Beskar and bounced off, right? Did Grogu kind of make that happen, or do you think Beskar can truly just stop?
I think Beskar can truly stop that. I think it
because that's incredible. The Rancor, whenever it, I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, bites down on the helmet, it's not going anywhere. It's basically the vibranium of Star Wars. Nothing can do anything to it, which I thought was just
not even a lightsaber.
Cool.
Nothing can do. If a lightsaber
eventually
can't do it, nothing
a lightsaber. Eventually, right? Is that the idea that eventually it'll melt, or no? Because the spear was kind of heating up, and I don't know if it would eventually melt, or if it just.
I guess if you held a Beskar, I guess if you held a lightsaber to Beskar for long enough, maybe then
it melts.
But I think it would take some.
I'd say
time.
That's the only thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
But yeah. But nevertheless, Grogu uses the Force to pull a bolt out from the droid's leg, and it causes it to collapse and gives Boba's Rancor time to finish tearing it apart, in which Boba gives the Rancor permission. Do it. Nice little parallel there. I just love just pulling from everywhere, man. Do it. Absolutely love it. But with one Scorpnik down now, Boba and the Rancor arrive to rescue the others, and the remaining Pikes are sent into retreat under fire from Pelimoto, the Freetown garrison, and the mods. And Boba and the Rancor fight off the other Pikes, but Cad Bane arrives. And Cad Bane's like, this Rancor ain't shit, bro. These things are scared of fire. And, that it immediately was like, fuck that, I'm out. No. It throws Boba off and flees. And the two square off. Cad Bane admits he doesn't understand Boba's motivations. He's like, I don't really get what you're trying to do here. Boba states, I won't abandon the city and its people, as they are my city and my people. And it's like this part is what confuses me about the end and the conclusion they come to. That he seems like Tatooine. These are my people. Which is really interesting to me.
Why?
My thing is that he was rebirthed
if
there.
It's not the Sand People, right? As of right now, the Sand People are the only people that I see him having a true attachment, a love for. What I think he's connected to Tatooine right now for is he just sees all the corruption and how bad it is for just the general population. So
he's like, I'm a protector.
And he's the corruptness, and he's such a man of his principle and his morals that it's that's enough to have him be connected and to call Tatooine his people.
I'm a because they are mine as I am protecting them. That's all there needs to be to it. And Cad Bane goes ahead and tries to goad Boba Fett by mentioning the Tuskens again. Thought the Tuskens were your people or something like that, and to no avail. But he points out that despite his age, he's still faster, armor or not. And
Boba's like, I have armor. What are you gonna do? And then Cad was like, let's find out.
Yeah,
he was
fuck around and find out, bro.
I don't
I'm gonna get your ass.
Let's go.
And then with some swift shots, Cad Bane takes Boba down and pins him to the ground, calling him a killer, just like his father was. Ain't that the quack to call him the stifling slimy? And then he rips Boba's helmet off, which, learn your lesson, I guess, as he put the dent in there priorly. But before he can shoot, Boba knocks him away with his gaffi stick, the same maneuver that has been used against him in his training and stuff. And the tides have now turned, and Boba stands above Cad Bane and kills him, leaving our guy dead in the street. R.I.P. Cad Bane.
Damn.
I think it's a fitting send-off, though. I think it kind of represents, Boba putting an end to his past and sort of being able to move forward. And I think it's just I think it's a perfect place to leave with him. I really do.
I mean, we have to mention it. I'm right there with you, fully comfortable. If this is a send-off, if he's dead, I thought they wrapped it up beautifully. Gave him live action what we wanted, just to see him, what he looked like, and gave him a fitting end. The duel was beautiful, Western as hell, amazing. But the blinking light, all of these fail-safes that Cad Bane has in place, there is a chance that he is not dead. And if it goddamn happens, if Toto comes back to rescue this man and put him in a bacta tanker, restore him up, I can't wait to fucking, oh my God. If Toto comes on screen and I hear that voice like, oh, master, are you hurt?
If Toto comes back in live action,
what do you think?
If Toto comes back in live action, I'm going to need him to be like immediately punted. Someone just needs to walk up and kick his ass.
Oh, you know what? I'm okay with Cad Bane being dead. Oh my God, I need Toto to come back and save him. Just for the.
You know what I want? You know what I want?
And the anger of Colton and Kyler at Toto getting a live action appearance would last me a lifetime. That would fuel me forever.
Give me Toto in live action. Do it. Guess what? He's gonna find the man he's followed for 50 years dead, and he's gonna feel terrible. And you know what? Good.
You know what? I'm okay with that too, because you know what? You still have to sit there and suffer as you hear Toto's voice on screen, and you and Kyler can sit there and suffer, and it will. If
that happens, you guys might never hear from me again.
Okay. The blinking light, though.
The Penny Bloom podcast will never cover Star Wars ever again. Well, no, the podcast will continue. Just Star Wars will be dead in Colton's eyes if Toto gets live action.
It's the last straw.
It's the line I won't cross.
That is the yeah.
But why do they
all those people who say Star Wars? Sorry,
it's all good.
All those people who say Star Wars was ruined by the sequel trilogy or by this or by that. Toto is Colton's equivalent to the sequel trilogy. Toto,
100%.
I'll be so happy. But like they don't show that red light blinking on his chest. Like there's a reason they show that.
Maybe that's his dead light.
It's at least transmitting something. If he is dead, maybe he has things that take place after he dies. Like
maybe it's like he has a light in his chest specifically that all it doesn't do anything, but it just once he dies it just starts blinking red. That's all it does.
It started blinking whenever he was like, let's see, the second he was stabbed, it starts blinking. So he's still taking a breath and it's already blinking. Already.
If I had to guess, it would be like he's like transmitting something, and so that was like his last action was to like.
No, it's automatic. That was automatic.
No, I'm thinking it's he pressed a button or something that he knows I'm gone.
Yeah, I didn't even notice it.
I didn't.
So when
either.
Joe brought this up to me off mic a little bit ago, I just went with him for a little bit, but I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I definitely did not see the lights blinking.
Oh,
no,
okay.
Yeah, neither did
I wish I could share my screen, but Disney Plus doesn't allow that. But
really not.
Whenever he gets
kind of fake.
Whenever he gets stabbed, there's a thing right on his chest, and it's like a little panel, and it has this little red light that's not on at all. It's never been on in live action at all, like as we see him. He gets stabbed, and it immediately turns on and starts blinking. And then they show him again. They show like his dead body, and then as like it's, you know, as it's just showing him, the light just continues to blink. Like, and it's like you get the vibe. It's at least transmitting something. Like it is.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. That does kind of look like a, your heart stopped. I'm going to start transmitting something.
Like he didn't do anything to start that. Like he didn't press a button. It just happened.
Yeah, and see, like I'd believe that he's transmitting something of some significance. My thing is that like I just like if
they even added a ticking noise to it. Like whenever they just go over his body, they emphasize it.
Huh.
Like
all right. No, yeah, and I mean like I'm sure it's something. I'm sure it's something. I frankly don't want him to be alive. I think you get one of those per series or per movie. And if Cobb Vanth is what is going to be ours in this series, Cad Bane's got to be dead. However, if they bring him back, I'll invite it. I'll be open to whatever the fuck they're doing. But I think this is a good ending for his story, and I think Boba being the one who does him in makes sense. But
oh yeah,
yeah, I'd be interested though. I'd be interested for sure. But in the rest of the city, the Rancor continues his rampage. As earlier in the season, we get explained to that the only time it's violent is when it feels threatened, or if someone is being violent against it. And the people begin shooting at the Rancor. Naturally, it seems like an automatic response, which is perfectly sensible. But Din's like, "Yo, stop it! You're only making it more angry." And he hands Grogu to Peli for safety, and Din tries to take control of the Rancor by landing on its back, taking hold of the chains, but it instead immediately throws him off and tries to eat him, but it is unable because of the Beskar armor, and it just throws him to the ground. And
I think the Din getting on the Rancor and trying to ride it was like a important thing that they showed, like to be like it is imprinted on Boba. And no one else can ride it. Like even a friend of Boba, like one of the closest friends to Boba, like nah,
right.
Like that is Boba's Rancor, which I thought was like.
Well, and I think it also goes to show that he is trained. Boba's trained in riding it.
Oh yeah, and like because during the scene, I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna get Din riding the Rancor. Like, oh my god, we're getting both of them riding the Rancor. Let's go. But then like when he threw him off, I'm like, you know what? That makes
more
like
sense.
That more.
And I like that more.
Yeah.
But Grogu escapes from Peli's grasp to stand before the Rancor, placing himself between it and the fallen Din.
There was a cute moment before this that happened. Before Din flew up to the Rancor, he handed him the little ball that Grogu liked on the ship. So he kept like he just keeps it on him, Like I guess his ship's gone and like he doesn't have like a place to screw it in anymore, but it's just so cute that he like just always keeps it on him and was like, here you go, buddy, hold on to this. Like, I'll be right back.
Note too, the only two things that survived the death of the Razor Crest are now with Grogu. The little ball and the Beskar spear in the form of his armor.
Wow.
So he's always got a little place of his first home with Din, which I think is cute. But, using the Force, he calms down the Rancor and ultimately puts it to sleep before curling up beside it and doing the same, going ahead and hitting the hay. And the Major Domo helps Din to his feet as people cheer. And I was like, fuck yes, baby. And this is what makes me think that, Ezra also had this affinity and connection to animals. As a lot of Jedi do, like the living Force and stuff there's a lot of that. But I think it would just make sense for them to, given the way they've connected Grogu to like the Mudhorn and shit like that, and all these other creatures that we've seen over the course of this time. Maybe it'll tie into when Din maybe finds a mythosaur. I don't know, but I think it makes sense for Ezra to be the one who helms Grogu's training, maybe with the help of Ahsoka or something like that. With Din being connected to Sabine through the Mandalorian stuff, I think it makes sense for them to all come together and it make a lot of sense.
Yeah, like Sabine could even train Din like with the Darksaber, what he learned from Kanan, and then like at the same time, Grogu could like wield the Darksaber too, and like just
I think it's more perfect. Like I think it's more perfect for Sabine and Ezra to work with Din and Grogu than it is for anyone else. I think it just makes all the sense in the world. The Mandalorian and the Jedi combination, man, they'll never see it coming.
Yeah.
But yeah. But
the first Jedi to wield the Darksaber, but now maybe the Din and Grogu will be the first pair to wield the Darksaber.
I think this is ultimately headed in a direction where Grogu is eventually the Darksaber's holder.
Yeah.
No one's going to
He's going to be the Mandalorian, and he's going to be the Jedi since Tar Vizsla.
Well, because clearly Din kind of blows ass at using it. So
yeah, but I think
everyone else wants Grogu.
I think he'll learn how to use it until Grogu's of age, and then give it to Grogu.
Yeah, that's what I mean though. It's like I feel like he's clearly dog shit. He'll get better, but I don't think he'll get that much better.
I see. But next up, wait, go ahead.
If Grogu gets the Darksaber, everyone else in the universe that would want it has to just be like, damn, well, not in my lifetime.
Right.
Like, I gotta wait a long ass time now unless he voluntarily gives it up. So, like,
or I can beat him in a fight.
That's a long reign of the Darksaber if Grogu like officially becomes.
Oh, and it'd be perfect. There's no
of it.
Like, imagine someone who lives for 1,000 years being the leader of a society.
If he trains with Ahsoka,
talk about the long-term
connections to the Mandalore,
2 lightsabers. Ahsoka has 2 lightsabers, and how cool would it be if Grogu wields the Darksaber and Yoda's lightsaber eventually? Like those he has both.
Oh, and hey, one of them, Ahsoka does have like she has the big one and the small one, so it'd be perfect. He has the Darksaber and then the small Yoda lightsaber.
Perfect.
Even though you can, control the lengths, but we don't need to talk about that.
We don't need to talk about it. But back in Mos Eisley's Desert Survey Office, I like that Fennec dipped at the beginning of the episode, saved the mods, and then didn't show up again. And it's because she was
she was traveling.
She's on her way to Mos Eisley.
Yeah, she was traveling, and everyone just kind of forgot.
Yeah, right. Like I was like,
whenever it cut to this, I was
she
like,
hasn't been in it the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, it cut to this, and I was like, "Shit, that's right. That's where she went."
The Syndicate Enforcer announces that their retreating forces will arrive from Mos Espa shortly, so they can dip. And the various faction leaders are like, "Yo, what the fuck? We had a deal." And the Pike leader points out that half his people have been gunned down or eaten by the Rancor, and he breaks the terms as he'd been promised conditions on Tatooine to be hospitable. And blaster fire interrupts before they can argue further, sending the group on high alert. And before anything can be done, the guards and faction leaders are all shot down from above, and then Mok Shaiz attempts to flee, but is ultimately caught by a noose and hanged. Holy shit.
That shit was funny.
little dark.
Pretty funny.
That was the darkest killing since Din snapped the dude's neck in pursuit of Grogu. When he held the Beskar spear to the dude's neck.
I mean, that was Fennec on her own. She could do what she wanted.
Right, she knows what she can do. She's like, fuck it.
Those people are going to die anyways, so
Also, he kind of deserved it, so, who cares?
Here's my thing is that, I need them to present, the Ithorians are the Ithorians, the species that Mok Shaiz is, are notoriously peace loving and very connected to nature, and it's just really weird that they presented an Ithorian before us who was very not seemingly peace loving, or maybe forced to not be peace loving by the Pike syndicates. I don't know, but he did ask for the town to be spared, so maybe he was just in a bad situation. But it sucks that he had to die along with them. If he was being held against his will, but it didn't seem like it. It seemed like he had plenty to do with everything going on. But after Mok Shaiz is hanged, The leader of the syndicate fires blindly just all over the fucking place and tries to approach a window before Fennec appears and stabs him. And with the opposition's leaders dead, she exits through the front door.
Fitting. They stab him in the back, and he gets it right back. Like, stab us in the back, you'll literally get stabbed in the back by Fennec Shand.
That's right.
Master Assassin will not fail.
Never. But dude, what a badass scene! Just her wiping that shit out, just amazing.
Yeah. And just walking out like it was nothing.
Amazing.
Too. She was like, "All right, job finished."
The scene returns to Mos Espa, where Boba and Fennec are walking through the streets, and the townsfolk are working together to fix and clear the streets. And many stop and bow to greet him, all of which he returns. And Boba laments having to move his right arm, but states his back to tank is in use. And when Fennec tells him to take a soak, Fennec told him to take a soak, and he's like, I can't. It's being used right now. And Fennec points out that he should be glad that they bow to him rather than shooting at him. And a group of children run up and offer him some Melu runs, one of which he accepts. Mm-hmm. And as they approach, they're discussing,
it's the fruit across the galaxy, the most important fruit in all of Star Wars.
It's the best fruit. But they're discussing whether or not this is the future for them, or what's going to happen. And the way they leave that, they pan to Black Chrysanthemum, the mods, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but the little lep droid rat catcher was there.
Yeah.
They meet up.
The one that he trapped in the box. Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah. They meet up in the street, and it leaves it like he's kind of going to leave Mos Espa to be ran by its people, by the mods.
Well, the fact that we got that, like them talking about that, and then it immediately cut to, after that, the cut to
Cobb Vanth.
I couldn't remember his name. Cobb Vanth in the back to tank kind of makes me think that they're just gonna do kind of like Cobb Vanth do what he did in Freetown,
but for Mos Espa.
But for Tatooine, and let Tatooine run itself.
There was a line in here that kind of got me kind of serious about maybe that Boba is wanting to terraform the planet, because he said your bodies will go in the soil and allow the planet to flourish again. I think it's part of his goal. I don't know if it was just flourishing in a manner of speaking.
Yeah, their blood will slowly make its way down to the black melon at the center of the planet.
I think water,
and once they kill enough pikes, their blood will crack the great black melon at the center of the planet, and water will return to Tatooine.
We will nurse on its milk.
But oceans of milk instead of water.
Yeah, oceans of milk.
But
that's a lot, man. That's a lot of work for Boba Fett.
After that, we cut back up to Din's starfighter departing from a planet, and Grogu's in the small pod seat where we were pretty sure that's where he'd go, and he taps the dome. Din's like, no. Grogu's like, just beats the shit out of that glass, and Din's like, fine. He flicks up the switch and clicks that shit, and they go screaming forward, and Grogu's like, ah! And we cut to black.
I've seen so many goddamn TikToks making fun of that scene.
See the one where he actually breaks the glass and then he gets sucked into vacuum and explodes?
No, I've seen a couple of those, but things like talking about just how fucking adorable it was. It's funny.
So fucking cute, dude.
It is.
Better not break that glass. You better be careful, because now I'm eternally scared that he's gonna break the glass and get sucked into vacuum. But he's a Force user. Leia survived.
He'll be cool. He'll be cool. I don't think that ball's quite strong enough. I mean, it might, is it Beskar? I don't know. But after the credits roll, we're inside Boba's palace at his back to tank, where we see Cobb Vanth inside, and a figure turns to reveal himself to be Thundercat, the mod artist who saved Fennec Shan's life previously. Tools in hand.
What is he getting, man? What's he getting?
That's gonna be like
an arm,
maybe
a
shoulder,
whole arm or a shoulder, like maybe a
like Mayfeld style cannon,
Mayfeld gun, yeah, like Mayfeld gun or something. Like
never lose another duel.
Like, it's gonna be Western as fuck, whatever it is, like Western Star Wars. Like it's gonna help him in standoffs or like just with gunfight. Like I don't know, I it's gonna be sick. I can't wait to see what he's gonna turn into. But
no, I'm very excited for the future of Cobb Vanth.
He lost his armor, but what better armor set to take over for Cobb Vanth than Cad Bane's armor? He takes Cad Bane's stuff, and Cobb Vanth, like...
Dude, I was thinking, Cad Bane's hat needs a head. And who would look better in that fucking cowboy hat than Cobb fucking Vanth? It just makes sense.
Damn, it has to happen. And those two... I don't know, his Cad Bane's blasters, his holsters, his like, it's Western as fuck. Like, Cobb needs to go over there and just
go ahead. And
I take
this is mine. I'm gonna do what the Jawas do. I'm gonna take your shit, bro. R.I.P. though. But yeah, that concludes the season of the Book of Boba Fett, and all in all, it was a damn good one. I really, really, really enjoyed this season of television. Had a lot of fun week to week. It's gonna suck that we have to say goodbye. But hey, now we're 3 months out from Kenobi, May 25th, baby.
Mm-hmm.
It just needs to get. I need the fucking preview for it,
dude. I need that trailer.
I need Kenobi.
Thought it was coming in the Super Bowl. Yeah. Thought it was coming in the Super Bowl. That's all right. That's all right.
They gave us no indication that it'd be coming during the Super Bowl, so.
Maybe Colton, May the 4th is the trailer. Maybe they wait that long.
I don't know. I don't think they'll wait that long. It's too late at that point. Maybe another trailer, like a
Colton,
second trailer.
The simple fact. I don't know, because that trailer, like if Hayden Christensen is in it, which I would assume he would be, like that moment where he's on screen is enough to be like, just holy shit.
Right.
Like I don't like that trailer is enough to make everyone freak out and like, oh my god,
Colton, you know the is the Kenobi trailer out yet? Twitter. Yeah, that he was having a fucking meltdown during the Super Bowl.
It was a rough night for Will. He
tweeted the day of reckoning may have finally arrived, and then like halfway through he's like,
hasn't.
guys, I don't think we're gonna get it. And then it was like I'm just mad at myself for ever believing that it would come.
I mean, because they typically tease Super Bowl commercials, like a lot of people.
We didn't get it. Well, but we didn't get like a teaser for the Doctor Strange commercial being during the Super Bowl. So like the big announcements, you don't get teasers for them. It's for the normal Super Bowl commercials. You get them released ahead of time.
Right.
They just confirmed that Jimmy Smits is reprising his role as Senator Bail Organa,
which almost certainly confirms some young Leia as well.
Ooh. That deepfake technology, that's what they've been working towards. Luke and Leia. Gotta get Leia back.
They'll be like 9,
think
so...
about that. Oh, never... Yeah, oh wait. Man, every time I think of all these shows, I'm thinking the timeline. I'm not thinking of timeline at all.
Yeah.
I need to start.
No, yeah. We'll get baby kid... Like, the age that Anakin was in The Phantom Menace is the age Luke and Leia will be in this.
Duh. Anakin's fucking alive. There's children. They're literal babies.
They're 10 or something like that. But Bail Organa, which means we'll see Brio Organa almost certainly, which means we'll certainly see Alderaan, which is just hype. Kenobi is just going to be a fucking feast, dude.
Damn. Is it really just going to be him going back and forth between Luke and Leia, protecting him basically, and then Vader in between,
I don't know, 6.
What else?
I bet
Maul maybe.
I bet Bail Organa reprising his role as Jimmy Smits reprising his role as Bail Organa is probably going to be a 1 maybe 2 episode thing. That's one stop on his journey throughout this whole fucking thing. I don't think he'll be going back and forth too much. I mean, maybe he spends a couple episodes on Tatooine, a couple episodes on Alderaan, and then the finale is what, like, the last 2 episodes or whatever the rollicking adventure is. But
does he visit his castle? Maybe he goes back to.
Maybe we get back to Mustafar at some point. Who knows? It's going to be fucking fun. We've heard reports of a water planet, so maybe a Camino in ruins would be kind of cool. Maybe that would be integral to us figuring out whether or not the cloning operations have continued under the Empire. If they were to return to a water planet in Camino and stuff like that. But yeah. I don't have much else to say. I'm very excited for what comes next in Star Wars, but it's going to suck to say goodbye to the Book of Boba Fett for a little bit. This shit rocked. I really loved it. I'm going to miss Tamara Morrison, but should be seeing him again in about 3 months in Kenobi as a couple of clones at least. I'll miss Ming-Na Wen.
The fact that Tamara Morrison slept with like Cody, like Commander Cody's, like whoever played that, his wife, and like they refuse to work together now. So like now, like Tamara Morrison has to play every clone, like.
Oh yeah, I forgot there was another guy.
Yeah, it's not all Tamara Morrison. Yeah, right. But now, like, it kind of is forced to be now because they won't work together anymore. Like, Tamara Morrison fucks. That dude is that I don't know that
like a bantha.
Like what? Yeah, what a thing. Like what a world we.
All I know
in.
Is that dude can sing his ass off.
Yes. Wow. I love how that just got like. You said you've been listening to that like
for a couple of years
for a while.
Dude, I love
that.
That's
crazy. That's crazy. I never knew it existed until like it popped up.
Yeah, it came out like
recently.
8 years ago. I didn't discover it till like 3 years ago. It's fucking awesome though. Tem by Tamara Morrison. It's fucking outstanding. But yeah. Any last thoughts on this season of television as a whole? We'll start with Joe here.
Well, I guess I'll just give my general predictions of where they're going. My general big idea plan is Thrawn, Omega, and Grogu are three big pieces to some puzzle that I haven't figured out yet. And that's my prediction for now. It's just Thrawn, Omega, and Grogu. But
all right.
That's where I'll end.
I dig it. Miles, any last thoughts here on the Book of Boba Fett?
Yeah, I agree with the I agree with the Thrawn. I don't know what they're gonna do with Thrawn or Omega or any of those characters. I think Ezra's gonna be a big Ezra and like Sabine and all them is gonna be a big key potentially for the Mandalorian season 3 coming up potentially. So I'm excited to see where they go with it.
My girlfriend is terrible about coming down here when she gets home from work and turning off that fucking light.
Is this a natural thing to do when you walk out?
I know it is. I can't be mad. It's just like it's happened a few times now.
Yeah. I saw the reaction of the light turn off. You're just like, God damn it.
No, but yeah, I'm with you. I think Thrawn's definitely towards the top of whatever is the major problem here. I don't know if Omega is going to have as much of a impact on this post Return of the Jedi timeline. I hope she does. I hope she comes back around eventually in some major way, which, I mean, it would only make sense that she does, I think. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
The big umbrella is Palpatine, by the way. Palpatine's above those three, but those three lead to Palpatine. They're the like in the mob chart boss, like on the wall, everything. Palpatine up at top, and then the three right below. Maybe 4 with Ezra in there somewhere with them, I'd say. Now, I like that idea of Ezra and Sabine and them all training. That's pretty beautiful.
Yeah, my thing is that like if the whole thing for these Empire remnants is long live the Empire, and the Emperor is off building the final order, I think there's just some sort of like lapse in.
Yeah, I don't think Palpatine's going to be a big part solely because of the fact that no one knew Palpatine was around. you could say like Palpatine will be a big part through Snoke. Like I would agree with that. Like Snoke might end up being a big part, but like no one knew Palpatine was around, so I doubt Palpatine is,
still pulling the strings though.
Oh yeah, I mean
he might be, but
maybe if Snoke shows up, then yes.
Yeah.
But if not, then I don't think there's any reason to believe Palpatine's in any way involved.
Yeah.
I think in this post Return of the Jedi timeline, I think
yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, but
yeah, man, I'm just ready. Give me all the content, whatever May the 4th. If it's nothing, that's kind of wild. I'm just guessing it's Bad Batch. I don't know. That was what happened last year, but I don't know. No promotions for it or anything.
Yeah, with the Kenobi announcement already and the release date set, I think we can kiss the Bad Batch season 2 goodbye until the end, at least fall.
Maybe Disney, like, since Disney now just has Marvel, they don't want to pack something on May the 4th. Like, maybe they're just like, so much is coming out, like, around
May the 4th
there.
Also, it might not be like, stuff coming out. It could be announcements, though.
True.
Yeah, it could be announcements.
It could be like a Disney Plus
new
day
shows.
or something.
Yeah, especially since it'll be a few months after the end of the Book of Boba Fett. They'll probably figure out what spin-offs are going to come from this, because it seems like we're leaving somewhere. It might even be like Book of Boba Fett season 2 announced on May the 4th, since we didn't get that immediately announced. I think that because it definitely leaves you in a place where you think the mods, Cobb Vanth and Tatooine are going to kind of be the center of something. It's just unclear what. And I think that might be where we get that answer. It's also I think May the 4th might also be the beginning of a comic book run called Kenobi, about Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No one reads comic books.
You don't read comic books. But with that, I think we'll conclude the final episode of the Sarlacc Soundwave. For now, maybe we see the Sarlacc Soundwave continue at some point, but for now, I think this is it. With that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Thank you for having me. One last thing. Sarlacc Soundwave, best name we've ever come up with, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a goated name.
Definitely. We'll have to come up with something to top it for Kenobi.
True.
But, yeah. We were also joined by Miles Buttress. Thank you very much, homie.
Happy to be here and happy to come back anytime, man.
Next week even?
Who knows? Maybe. Probably not.
Maybe. We'll see. But if you would, head to patreon.com/CoroBloom, where before this, we just did our own little Multiverse of Madness trailer viewing and second by second breakdown, pretty much. If you're a Marvel fan, go ahead and check that out. If you're fucking with Star Wars, which I assume you are, if you're here, this Friday on the 52-year journey through film is Star Wars, 1977 Star Wars, where me and Joe conducted a live commentary of the film. So tune in there, turn the movie on, and watch along with us. Follow on Twitter @PennyBloomPod. Follow on Instagram @PennyBloomPodcast. Leave a good 5-star rate and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And like a bantha.